All right, Junkie Nation, don't forget on Friday, it's Inside the Matrix out in Singapore. That's right, they got 4 title fights. And our next guest, Tan Lee, he is going to be contending in the featherweight division against Martin Nguyen. 8:30 a.m. Eastern, 5:30 a.m. Pacific on BR Live. You got to check it out. Hey, Tan, how are you?
Doing great. How are you guys doing? Thanks for having me.
Doing great, man. We've been talking to a lot of one championship talent, and we're excited because there's 4 title fights. And when you put all the challengers together, between the 4 of you, there's 3 losses. All of you are definitely capable of taking out the champions. So we're excited to tune in. But let's talk about you and Martin Nguyen. The one thing that stood out to us when we were previewing this fight with Michael the Voice Chavello, it seems like this is the one that's got a little bit more heat than the other ones. Where does that stem from?
I think it's just really the style of fighters that we are and what we've done in the past. Martin's a great fighter. He comes from a great team. Dude has power in both hands. He's champion for a reason, right? And, I've been doing pretty well myself. Got a lot of finishes. I think both guys do a spectacular job of capitalizing on opportunities. And, Martin likes to knock some people out. I like to do the same. And I think in this matchup, I mean, you can only guess what's going to happen. One of us is going to sleep.
Yeah, definitely. I can't wait to tune in. I've always said, hey, I love it when 2 martial artists can fight at the dojo and settle their beef. But I'm more about like behind White Castle or at Jack in the Box or the park, the ones where guys really, really, get down and it's a little bit, I don't want to call it a street fight because obviously you guys are professionals, but you know what I mean, that animosity. And I think this is the fight that's going to bring it out on Friday for me because I got to wake up at 5:30 a.m. Tan Lee. I'm on the Pacific time zone, but I'm still going to do it. And I can't wait for this one.
Yeah, we're going to make it worth your viewing pleasure, I promise.
Hey, I wanted to ask you a question. I was watching a lot of your highlights and, a lot of your recent fights. You have that left hand that you can tell has power because you've landed it before. And sometimes I notice that you almost use it as a distraction. It's like your right hand has a lot of power, and it seems like you go to it naturally. Like for example, when you knocked out, I think it was Booba with the knee, or I'm not sure if I got all the names right, but immediately your follow up was that one, and I've just noticed that's the hand that can sometimes be your money punches is your right hand, even though the left one seems to be the more power hand and the one that I think is more like a heat-seeking missile. At least that's how the opponent's viewing it.
Yeah, I think my Taekwondo background has really helped with being ambidextrous and being able to use both sides of my body pretty well. I'm a righty. I've fought lefty a bunch of times, but we spend a lot of time. I spend more time on my weak side than I do my strong side. So really, I don't know which one's the weak side and which one's the strong side anymore. But you have weapons on both sides, and really, I just try to do my best to take advantage of the opportunity, right? Obviously, you're going to hit harder with your dominant hand or whatever, but most fighters hit hard enough to knock a man out with both hands. They understand how to hit and how to transfer power. It's just really finding the opportunity, right? And that's the big issue and the big thing that finishes fights. And I think you were referring to like Ryogo in that last fight where I hit him with a knee and then bumped him up against the ropes and then landed the left hand to finish. I've got a ton of finishes with both hands. I've gotten finishes with both legs. So it's more about the timing and the opportunity rather than do I have enough power, because I definitely possess enough power in all my limbs, but so does Martin, right? It's just going to be who's going to find the timing, who's going to find the distancing, and who's going to really be able to sit down and get that shot off.
Yeah, see, I got no power. So all I know is that if I had to hit something, I would rather use my right hand. But I also noticed, I mean, of course you can get down with both hands and both kicks, but to me it seems like your left head kick is more of the money shot, I guess. When you kick to the liver or when you've been going to the head, I noticed a lot of power is generated there as well. Would you say that's your power leg?
Yeah, I guess you could say that. But again, because of the Taekwondo background, I've probably spent the equal amount of time on both legs, really drilling, working on power, working on speed, working on timing. But it's really the games and the mini games and the layers of difficulty that we try to put it in front of all those shots that really make them count the most. So, if I, let's say, a 0 out of 100% power, I hit you with a 70% kick. As long as we do the right work ahead of time and really find a good time for that shot to land and make it difficult for you to see, then that's going to be plenty, to do the damage that we want and to build off of. I try not to get greedy as far as shots go. So I don't hit you and try to, take your head off your body. I try to land the right shots, be as precise as possible. And then when they land and they land at the right moment, which that's what we spend a lot of time getting good at creating, then good things happen, right? And then, the knockouts have happened to come.
Let's talk a little bit about the moment. If you look at all your fight footage, your training, you always seem like you're prepared for everything. But this type of fight, I honestly think you guys are going to start hitting each other. And sometimes fighters have admitted it. The game plan just goes out the window, and it's just you two. Is that something that you invite? Has that ever happened to you, or do you normally have just full control over that situation?
That's kind of funny you bring that up. I throughout my amateur career and early in my pro career, it was a lot of just go out there and hit them, right? Like go out there and just go be a fighter. And more and more recently, as I've developed and learned and grown as a fighter, I've gone more, I guess you could say, selective and strategic on how and when I decide to fight. And I don't mean fight as in like going in the cage with Martin. I mean when to settle down, plant your feet, and really throw some shots. So it's a very layered game, and obviously a very complicated game, and all fighters will tell you. But you got to be smart and when to really throw down and when to be you, and then when to stick to a game plan. But I think all of that, if you do it the right way, is in the game plan, right? So even though I hang my hat on being a very disciplined person and a very disciplined fighter, that doesn't mean not ad-libbing, right? So I've got 3 or 4 finishes or 2 or 3 finishes I can think of off the top of my head that were not planned and we're not drilled, but we're completely in the game plan because the game plan always includes, hey, go do some good Tan Lee shit, right? And then that stuff happens to come out. You've got to be able to do your own version of art in the martial arts,
What do you feel like will be the last thing that runs through your head right before the referee calls for action?
So we'll be obviously sitting on each side of the cage, walking out. I'm usually just enjoying the music, relaxing, trying to just remember that I'm grateful and thankful to be here and to do this as a job and in front of all these fans. And, now instead of the fans in the house, there'll be a lot of people on TV watching, but really just being able to soak that in and reminding myself, that I'm really happy to be here. And then when we get in, it gets a little more down to business. We take a look at Martin across the ring, and obviously they're going to say ding, ding. But really, I'm just continually focusing on being calm, being relaxed, and go out there and have some damn fun. That's, it's real easy to forget as a fighter because the man's trying to kill you and you're trying to do some damage to this man too. But you like this. I love this. I do this every day because I choose to, and I really enjoy it. I don't do it because I have to. I don't do it for the money. I do it because I really love martial arts, and I remember that when I step in there.
When I was watching the Takahashi fight, you were bouncing around a lot. There was a lot of the switching of the stances, and even going to what you just said a second ago, it looked like you were having fun. But I wanted to ask you, like, do you bike a lot, or do you have 25 minutes in them calves and them thighs to keep doing that like without getting too tired, like that type of movement? It's pretty amazing, actually.
I've got 30 plus years of doing it, so I do it in my sleep. I mean, you know what I mean? No, yeah, I could do 2-3 fights in a row on. I could do 10, 20 rounds bouncing around like a crazy man. That's just something that's been developed over years and years of doing the Taekwondo background and doing that movement. But yeah, we've got 25 minutes we're going to make sure that we use our movement a lot. So you're going to see a lot of that hippity hoppity bouncing around shit.
What would it mean for you to win the one championship featherweight title?
I mean, again, we'll bring up that I love this sport. I love doing martial arts as a family-oriented thing, activity, and a job. It's the reason I wake up in the morning and go train hours and hours at a time, right? Because I actually do enjoy it. And all of that, all of my entire career of, even though I do enjoy it, it is hard work, right? Day in and day out, no breaks, missing holidays, missing dinners, missing dates with the wife, that type of stuff. And this is nice to be able to kind of go out there and win this belt, bring it back home to my family and friends, and show that we've done it. We are the best in the world, and we deserve to be here. And it was all for something, right? Everybody has small and long-term goals that they should have those types of goals that they want to reach in life. And this is one of those things for me. This is one of those career-oriented goals that I would love. It would mean everything to me to have done, right? And then once that gets accomplished, now we go to the next goal and the next goal and the next goal after that, right? It just doesn't stop at one world title. So even though it is everything to me, winning my last fight was everything to me, and winning the fight before that was everything to me at the time. So we continually build and build and build and become a better and more evolved person in our careers and family life and all that stuff. But it's 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 going to be nice to do what we set out to do and wrap that belt around my waist.
You came across our radar a few times here in North America. I've seen you fight at LFA. I've seen you fight UFC as well. And I wanted to ask you, how did you wind up at one championship? Did they kind of just recruit you, or did you go seek them out? And how would you compare the differences between fighting in an Asian-based organization versus fighting here in the United States?
Yeah, they reached out to me, and obviously I was super excited to be able to join the team. So I wouldn't say they asked for me to join. We just kind of mutually were so happy to kind of become part of the team. But yeah, it's really cool to be able to fight over here. I tell you what, even obviously before the pandemic, we'd be able to go and explore the country a little bit and check out the shops and the restaurants and the food and all the great things that these countries have to offer. But before any of this, I've never been able to step foot on this side of the planet. So it's been great to be able to, every fight's its own adventure. And I get to bring my family, my friends, my wife, on all these adventures with me besides this one. And it's been awesome, man. The fans are great. They're knowledgeable. They're respectful. And we try to return the favor by putting on good shows and putting on fireworks in the cage. And I think it's been a great relationship so far.
Yeah, no, I think it's awesome that one championship is starting to reach more into the Americas. And by that, I don't just mean North America. I mean South America as well. They got a couple Brazilian champions. And, with them being on BR Live, man, I just think that's pretty brilliant of them to start seeking out a few more American-based fighters than they had in the past. And even with Martin and Ong training in the United States, I just feel like that's going to help like the growth, because now that we're about a year and a half into the Bleacher Report and TNT relationship with one championship. So it's definitely more digestible for a North American based audience. So when I saw your name and you fighting Martin Nguyen, I was like, there you go. That's what I'm talking about. Like now it's starting to come together. You know what I mean? For the MMA fan that has to wake up early on a Friday, that's just something we're not used to.
Yeah, I think the more and more they bring in guys like DJ and Eddie Alvarez and Gary and myself and Sage and things like that, it's obviously only better for the company and for the sport. But bringing that side of mixed martial arts to the States, it's a little different feel than some of the other organizations that kind of have the pro wrestling feel sometimes. And it's really cool to be able to, bring the side of fighting that talks about a lot about the martial arts, the respect, the honor, the code in there that we follow, and you know how fighters treat each other, and how, you know, martial arts can grow you as a human, as a man, as a father, as a brother, as a son, you know. And I don't know if we get enough of that, and it's really cool to at least try to do a little bit, you know, do my part in trying to bring that over to the States, you know.
I'll tell you what, let's close with this. Good luck against Martin Nguyen. It's going to be a great fight. I am definitely looking forward to it. And if Eddie Alvarez wants to have an eyebrow challenge, I think you got him beat, man. You got some good eyebrows going on there.
Yeah, man. You know, they connect in the middle. I got to take care of that on a regular basis. So I can run the Anthony Davis style and get that unibrow thing going. Let's brand up.
I'm a Lakers fan. I love AD. You know, I definitely wasn't suggesting that you had a unibrow. I'm just saying you got some really good eyebrows, man. I'm just saying, I'm paying you a compliment there. All right, my man. Thanks so much for joining us here on MMA Junkie Radio. We appreciate it. We look forward to your title challenge versus Martin Nguyen at Inside the Matrix, 8:30 a.m. Eastern, 5:30 a.m. Pacific on BR Live. Thanks, Tan. Take care and good luck on Friday.
Thank you guys for having me. Tune in.